So right after we got back from our trip to Pennsylvania last week, or a couple of weeks ago maybe, we ran into a snag and the speedometer cable broke on the Concorde Pan Americana. And so once I realized, like, okay, now I've got to take this gauge cluster apart. Then we went ahead and did some other things while we had it apart. And one thing that we did that I'm very happy with is switch here and take a look. We've added the clock. I wish that I had a tachometer. I have a tachometer for a 4-cylinder, not the 6, and that's okay. But instead of just being constantly reminded that this car was so cheap that the guy didn't even opt for a clock, and it just had the square with the squiggly lines on it, now we have the indestructible AMC quartz clock. So that kind of fills out the gauges nicely. And I replaced some bulbs while I was in there, and I fixed the gear selector window that was, I don't know what was wrong with that. I think some plastic had broken and it just didn't work, but now it's going to work just fine. And yeah, we upgraded, which is what we try to do anytime I've got to take something apart, try to make it better than it was, and we have certainly done that here. So now let me get to it and get everything buttoned back up. And let me get out and just remind everyone what this car looks like. In all her beige glory. Oh, and I did do some work on these tail lights, and I think that they look a lot more contemporary with some black trim and the silver on the lenses. I actually just went ahead and buffed that out, and once again, it just makes this car, gives this car such a much more modern look. It's really kind of surprising. Anyway, back to it, and we'll see what we can come up with next.